Good morning, everyone. Today is the 9th day of Sivan. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and we're going to learn Perek days of Shar HaYichud V'Ha'emunah. A little overview in this chapter. Tanya establishes the difference between a something from something and a something from nothing. The former being a one-time act, the latter is ongoing. Perek Beis on page 96 in your Chayenu, if you're following along in the Chayenu. In this opening chapter, the Alter Rebbe explained that the divine life force, which brings all created creatures into existence, must constantly be present within them in order to recreate and give them energy on an ongoing basis. Were this life force to stop even for a moment, whatever that creation would be, would revert back to nothingness. Yeah, it's too noisy. From the foregoing the answer to the heretics may be deduced those who don't believe. This is all about belief. This Shar HaYichud V'Emunah, the oneness of Hashem. So for those that don't believe, listen up, listen carefully. There is exposed the root of the error. Alter Rebbe is going to explain how the heretics, are wrong, because they deny the individual divine providence and the signs and miracles recorded in the Torah. They don't believe that possibly can happen. Hashem didn't give the Torah from heaven down to a human being. Splitting of the sea, it must have been some kind of a wind from east to west. And all the things that happen, every single little thing that happens is divine providence. So why do they deny this when they readily admit that Hashem created the world? Why? It's because Shetoyim v'dimyoinam hakoizev. They err in their false analogy. Shemidamin maaseh Hashem oiseh shmayim v'aretz lamaaseh enosh v'sag b'loisav. They compare the work of Hashem to the work of a person. And he says, yes, Hitaka created it, but then he walked away. When a silversmith completes whatever beautiful piece of silver he's creating, then he walks away. It's beautiful and he doesn't need to constantly sustain it. Even when he stops touching let's say a beautiful silver cup that he made, the vessel remains in the exact same image and form than the moment he stopped creating it, the moment he stopped designing it. In the same way, the Alter Rebbe says these foolish people conceive the creation of the heaven and earth, the way the world is created. They imagine that heaven and earth, once it's created, Hashem is not involved anymore. And we know that's not so. Their eyes are covered, they don't see the difference. There's a clear difference here. When a person makes something out of silver, he's taking a piece of silver and he's repurposing it, he's reshaping it. He's taking it from a piece of silver, an ingot of silver, and he's making a nice goblet, a nice becher out of it. So the craftsman didn't change the essence of what it is, he just changed its shape. Obviously, he put in detail, he put his skill set into it, now it looks beautiful. But when it comes to heaven and earth, there was no heaven and earth before Hashem created it. He didn't take something and make something else out of it. Obviously, the creation of heaven and earth is more wondrous, for example, than the splitting of the sea. Not even close. At that time, Hashem drove back the sea with a strong east wind all night, meaning the godly force that split the sea itself clothed itself in the wind. So you can say the sea was there. Hashem just created a natural phenomenon that created this splitting. But kavu amayim, and then the water split. And not merely cease. It wasn't like the water disappeared, but it stood upright like a wall. If Hashem stopped the wind that was holding up the wall of the sea, it would have come downward, as is its natural way. And undoubtedly, the walls of the water would not have stood up. They would have crashed down. Even though the nature of water is to flow downward, even though water itself is a creation, something from nothing. A stone wall stands by itself without assistance. That's how a stone or a brick wall stands up. But the nature of water is not to do that. The nature of water is to flow to the lowest place. So since water by nature does not stand upright but flows downward, an additional degree of creation, something from nothing, is called for it to do otherwise. Hashem had to create the concept that water will not stand upward. To create gravity, or whatever scientific word it is that the water does. See, the above demonstrates that the divine life force, the divine force that clothes itself in the wind, did not have to create yesh me'ayin, something from nothing. It merely had to change one concept to the other, yesh me'yesh, something from something. The natural property of fluid to the property of standing up. Nevertheless, in such a situation, since a radical degree of change is involved, it's necessary for the power causing the change to affect the change remittingly. V'chol shekain v'kal v'chomer. B'brias yesh me'ayin shehi l'mayla me'ateva ha'hafle v'fela yoser me'kriyas yamsuf. Do you imagine how much effort, something from nothing, had to be done here? A big change in nature by the splitting of the sea. How much more so when it comes to the creation of the world? Halachas kam v'kama. Shevistalkos koyach habayrim and nivra chas v'shalom yoshev nivra layin v'yafes mamish. So if Hashem would stop the wind and stop holding up the water, it would come crashing down. So surely if Hashem stopped holding up every individual object, item, person, place, and thing in the world, it would come crashing down, just like the water would. Not only that, it wouldn't come crashing down, but it would just fail. It would cease to exist. So the energy to create it has to remain constant. Has to be an ongoing existence. The activating forces, such as above, are the same letters of speech that constitute the Asar Mamoris, the 10 utterances that Hashem used to create the world. So the pasuk says, "You give life to them all," meaning Hashem provides the heavens and the earth and all the creatures found in them the life. Reading not to give life, but to bring into being something from nothing. Just press off now. What's there is? So put it up to 72, it'll turn off. What? You did already? 75. But ata. And when it comes to the word ata and you, in Bechinas Aises me Aleph Ba'ad Tov. Oh, this is very interesting. It's a beautiful word. He says the word ata, you, indicates that all the letters from Aleph, the first letter of the Aleph base, to Tov, the last letter of the Aleph base, is included. And what's the hey? Hey, well, it is Hashem. I often mistaken that because it says hey with a little slash on top. So it's Ata, Aleph to Tov, and the hey is Hashem. But it's what it's saying here also is that hey, he, Joe, you're gonna like this word. When you have the word Ata and you Hashem, so it's the Aleph base of Aleph to Tov, everything included in Asarim Amaris, the world is created, and then you have the hey of the same word, the extra hey. What's the extra hey? You have Aleph to Tov, and the hey alludes to the 5 organs of verbal articulation: the lips, the tongue, the teeth, the palate, and the throat, which are the source of the letters. This then is the meaning of the phrase of the pasuk, and you give life to them all. The spiritual letters that emanate from the 5 organs of verbal speech, from Hashem's 5 organs of verbal speech, provide life, something from nothing, to the entire creation. Even though obviously, Joe, Hashem has no body, he doesn't have lips, he doesn't have a tongue. This is spiritually speaking. So if we're talking about these 5 different parts, how can we say the letters? First of all, Hashem doesn't say any words at all. I mean, it's not like this is all metaphoric, spiritual. Hare mikra mole diber hakosav yidaber Hashem v'yemer Hashem. By the way, Yudah, Joe's here. Joe, Yudah's here. He's on the video. He's on the Zoom. Seriously, every day. So the pasuk explicitly applies to him in anthropomorphic terms. We say Hashem spoke. Hashem doesn't speak. Doesn't have a mouth. Hashem said. So this is the meaning. Bechinas eskalos hachav beis oisios el yoinois lineviim. This is the meaning of Hashem spoke or God said. It's the revelation of the 22 supernal letters of the prophets. Slabshois, V'sichlam, V'asagosam, Amari Hanavua. These letters are enclosed in the intellectual comprehension which is found in the Nevi'im, the prophets' prophetic vision. V'gam b'machshavtam v'diburam k'meshikosav ruach Hashem diber bi. Milosai al l'shayni. And all these letters are enclosed as well in the thoughts and speech of the Navi. The Spirit of Hashem spoke within me, and His, Hashem's word, is upon my tongue. As the Arizal explained, clearly there exist letters and speech above, which are capable of being garbed in thought and speech of the prophets. And if it says that the world is created through this Lashon HaKodesh, this holy tongue, it is in actuality. But when it comes to Hashem, it's a different form. We have no idea. That's beyond us. Similarly, to this investment of the letters in created things, as is written, by the word of Hashem were the heavens made, and by the breath of his mouth all their hosts. Except that the enclothing of the letters in created beings comes about through numerous and powerful descents. Until the letters reach the world of Asiya, which contain corporal beings, us humans, whereas the apprehension of the prophets is in the world of Atzilus as it becomes clothed in the world of Bria. This is a very lofty level that the spirit of the Nevi'im, the prophecy, descends upon the prophets. In similar fashion, the supernal letters descend and are invested within created beings, providing them with life and creating them something from nothing. So the takeaway for today, Chavra, is contrary action needs constant support. Think of water standing like a wall. It would need a constant force to keep it up. If you have a powerful fan or an air compressor and you point it at the water, it's going to hold it back to a certain extent. As long as you keep on pushing stronger than the water is flowing. But as soon as you take it away, it falls down. The default state of existence is Hashem. And the physical world is novelty and contrary. Hashem propels the world into existence. He holds it up all the time. Were he to stop even for a moment, the entire world would just simply disappear. So we thank Hashem for sustaining us and sustaining the entire world for our benefit in order for us to be able to have a relationship with him. And how do we do that? Through learning Torah, davening, and performing good deeds, mitzvahs. Have a good day, everyone.